Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Explore the Bible with me. Thank you for joining me. I have a question. What does trees, grass, bushes, plants, fruit like strawberries and bananas and celery and tomatoes and carrots, what does that remind you of? Vegetation. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about vegetation. So let's just jump into the verses. We're going over Genesis chapter 1, verse 11 through 13. Then God said, "Let the land sprout with vegetation, every sort of seed-bearing plant, and the trees that grow seed-bearing fruit. These seeds will produce the kind of plants and trees of which they came." And that is what happened. The land produced vegetation, all sorts of seed-bearing plants, and the trees with the seed-bearing fruit. Their seeds produced plants and trees of the same kind. And God saw that it was good. And evening passed and morning came, marking the third day. Food. God created food for us. When we're seeing seed-bearing plants and trees, God is not only talking about, oak trees and pine trees. He's talking about fruit trees, and he's talking about the vegetables that grow underground and the vegetables that grow overground. And think about that for a second. God is preparing this planet for us. God is creating not only land for us to stand on and light for us to see, but now he's producing food for us. He's creating food for us. And he's creating trees that we can take wood from to build homes. And he's creating beauty. Have you ever been in the woods? I love going in the woods in the springtime with my kids. We go hiking. And it takes you out of the city. It takes you away from the cars and the buildings, and all you are is surrounded by nature. Nature calms us. We use the sounds of water, and we use the sounds of birds and all of these different things, and people love to paint trees and forests and all of those things because it calms us. We can see the beauty in it. But the one thing that sometimes even I forget is that when I go into those woods and I see all those trees and the plants and all of that stuff and the wildflowers that grow in there, no human has taken care of them. No human goes into every woods, waters every tree and every plant and makes sure the wildflowers are growing and all of that. God created those, and God takes care of them. I love when the wildflowers start to sprout up, or the leaves begin to bud on trees, and it's a sign of spring. We're finally through the winter time. We're finally through the snow and the cold, and things are beginning to change. Life is beginning to renew again. And my kids will sit there and look out the window and go onto the porch and go, "Mom, look, there's leaves sprouting on the trees." But who created it? Who made the leaves sprout? I didn't. My kids didn't. God did. God made sure that in the summer we would have shade, because that's another thing that trees produce. We can hide under a tree and it's a little bit cooler than it is on the 100-degree day in the sun. God created that for us. He knew that's what we needed. As much as we needed land and the sky and light and the earth, he knew we needed plants, because we can use them for all different types of things. You can also use plants for medicine. So it's remarkable to me that we sometimes forget that if it's not in our garden or not on our farm, we don't take care of these things. There's not a single tree in the woods near my house that I have ever cared for. I love looking at it, but I don't take care of them. I don't make sure that they have the nutrients they need or the sun that they need or anything like that. Now, the type of person with a black thumb, I cannot have a plant grow to save my life. I don't know why, I just don't have that skill. But my daughter, on the other hand, she's really good at growing plants, and she loves it. But here's the thing. Unless she is taking care of it, she had nothing to do with it. I know dandelions are considered weeds, and I get that, but they're pretty weeds. And I love looking at them because they're bright yellow, and I love looking at the bright purple flowers and orange flowers and all these different color flowers. That's where we get our color from. The trees with all the different shades of green and brown on the trunks. God is putting color into the world. He's giving us something beautiful to look at. He's giving us something useful to use as a tool because we can build things out of it. And he's giving us food. But Jesus also talks about wildflowers. In Luke chapter 12, verse 27 through 28, this is what Jesus says. Look at the lilies and how they grow. They don't work or make their clothing. Yet Solomon in all his glory was not dressed as beautifully as they are. And if God cares wonderfully for flowers that are here today and thrown in the fire tomorrow, he will certainly care for you. Why do you have so little faith? I could not say that better. I could not ask a better question than that. But that's a hard question to answer. Why do you have so little faith? And I think about that question, and that question lingers in my mind. We see exactly what God can do every single day of our lives. We see that things that are completely out of our control, like the growth of plants in the woods or on the side of the road or down the trail, all of that stuff is completely out of our control. And we see it, but yet the things in our lives, that's when we go, but God can't handle that. And Jesus is asking, why do you think that? Why do you say, yes, God can control the sky, and yes, God can take care of the flowers and the plants, and God can create the land you're standing on, yet he cannot handle what you're dealing with? And when Jesus puts it that way, I kind of feel a little convicted. I kind of feel like I need to take a step back and truly look at what I really think. Is it that I'm trying to fix my own problems? Is it that I think I can do it better? Not many people would admit that they think they can do things better than God. But that's the truth of the matter. If we're not putting it in his hands, if we're not saying you're bigger than this, we are saying we can do it better. And I don't know about you, but that never works for me. It seems like the more I try to control a situation, the worse it gets. The more I try to fix a problem, the more broken the problem becomes. And it's hard for us because, in all honesty, trust is one of those things that just innately we don't have fully. For whatever reason it is, whatever thing happened to us where we can say, look, I tried to trust this person, or this person was supposed to take care of me and they didn't. We kind of take those human people and we equate them with God. We say, but you know what? God let me go through this so I can't trust him. And that's not the right way to think. And that's what Jesus is pointing out to us. He's saying to us, if God can take care of and make sure these flowers grow every single year, these flowers go through the seasons. These flowers are alive and flourishing and all of that, and then they die when the winter comes. They die in the snow, and they go underground, and the seeds stay underground, hidden, so that it can grow again next year. And I know sometimes that's how we feel. That we're just getting hammered with the rain, and we're getting hammered with the snow, and we don't know if we can stand up again. We want to hide. We want to say, well, God's not taking care of this, so I have to. And that's not true. God walks through all these things with us. And sometimes, yes, he allows it to happen because he wants us, A, to learn from it, but B, he knows that we can use it in our story. I've been through a lot of painful things, a lot of them. And for the longest time, I was angry about it. But now I get to talk to people about what I have been through. And it's like, in the midst of all the pain and in the midst of all the darkness, God is growing something beautiful. Because I get to look at another human being and say the words, "You're not alone. I see you. I've been through it. I understand." Maybe not the exact pain you're feeling, but I understand that pain or that isolation or that shame or that regret or whatever it is. I get it because I've been there. And to me, that's beautiful, but that took a long season of me being upset about it. And finally, instead of trying to fix it on my own, I gave it to him. And he started growing this beautiful, beautiful flower in my life. So when we keep looking at creation and we keep looking at the beauty that God is putting everywhere in front of us, he's not trying to hide any of these things from us. He's trying to say, look what I have created. Look what I take care of every day. Look at all of this stuff. Look at the trees. Feel the land under your feet. Look at the rivers. Look at the ocean. Look at the sky. Look at the light. Look at the day. Look at the night. He's reminding us. He's saying, I can take care of you. I can make sure that you are okay. Yes, just like the plants in the winter, it's cold, it's harsh, it's hard sometimes. That's the way life is. But God is walking through every single moment with us. We are not alone. We have a God who cares for us, who takes care of us, who grows us, who loves us. Jesus said, if God can take care of the wildflowers that do not think about themselves growing, they do not worry about how they're going to get nourishment, they do not worry about how they're going to get sunlight, they don't think like that. They don't have that concept because they're plants, but it happens anyway. How much more would God take care of the very people he was creating a home for? Remember, God did not create the world in this home for the plants. He created it for us. He gave us this planet, not the plants, not the ocean, not the sky, us. So if God can take care of the plants, he 100% can take care of us. And I know that's hard to face when you're in something. I know that's hard of a concept to remind yourself of because you have that innate thing in you that says, I have to control the situation. But I want to do a little bit of an exercise today. I want to ask you that if you're going through something, step outside, look around you, try to find a place where the plants and the trees are growing. And I know sometimes if you live in a major city, that's difficult to find. I grew up in a very major city and I totally understand that. If you have to, go online, look at the Amazon rainforest or, the mountains. Go look at those things. Understand that God created and takes care of those things. And remind yourself that God created you and takes care of you. So I hope today you guys can see the promise of God that's all around us. And we can see that in the midst of what we're going through, He created something beautiful for us. And He is still taking care of it. So I hope today you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.